Good day, viewers. Welcome to ASAP News Environment, your trusted news sources where we examine the laws that shape our society and save our future. I am Tio Marcia Miminsi.
And I'm Jennifer Tidahan. And tonight, we highlight three pieces of environmental legislation in the Philippines. Laws designed to protect our lands and seas and our climate. Let us begin with the Mining Act of 1995, also known the Republic Act of 7942. This law governs the exploration and development and utilization of mineral resources in the Philippines.
And now we start Mr. Salvador to report the Mining Act 1995, also known as Republic Act 7942.
Thank you, Mr. Aminse. And 1995, the Philippines enacted Republic Act number 7942, known as the Philippines Mining Act of 1995. This landmark designation aimed to revitalize the mining of industry while ensuring environmental protection and community development. March 3, 1995, during President Fidel B. Ramos' administration, the act established a comprehensive legal framework for the exploration, develop, utilization, and conservation of the country's mineral resources.
The Act recognized that all mineral resources in public and private lands within the country's territory and exclusive economic zone are owned by the state. It emphasized the state's responsibility to promote the rational exploration and development in partnership with the private sector, ensuring environmental protection and rights of affected communities.
To operationalize its objectives, the Act introduced a permit system granting three types of mining rights: exploration permits, mineral production sharing agreements, and financial or technical assessment agreements. Each permit has type of specific provision regarding contact areas and eligibility. While only Filipino citizens or cooperation with at least 60% Filipino ownership can be granted permits, the law allows foreign-owned corporations to engage in large-scale exploration and development of specific minerals, including gold, copper, nickel, and chromite. Permit holders are mandated to contribute to the development of welfare of mining communities and to invest in the advancement of science and mining technology. Financial obligations include excise tax, mine waste and tailing fees, and occupation fees. The acts give priorities rights to indigenous people over their ancestral domains before commencing mining operation. Companies must obtain free and prior informed consents from concerned communities. Additionally, at least 1% of gross output must be paid as royalties and to trust fund these communities. The Philippines Mining Act 1995 remains a cornerstone in the country's pursuit of sustainable mineral resources management, strivings of humanized economic development with environmental integrity and social responsibility. Back to you, Ami Mense.
Thank you for the reporting, Mr. Salvador.
Ito, manay. Sa may angay ka, manay. Wow! Laki may pasit kanton! Uy, luto na!
I-mix ang noodles with the seasoning.
Isa hindi sapat pag dalawa nabobonan. Walang isa Sana bibitin pag dalawa pipilitin pansit kanton. Pansit kanton. Pansit kanton.
Oh, Lucky Me Pansit Canton Kalamansi. Sa tagal ng samahan natin, lakas pa rin ang kiliti ng kalamansi mo sa akin. Pangako, takang bango at takang sarap mo aking unahin. May bago man na dumating, sarapines mo lang ang dasal para sa akin.
Nescafe Original. May tapang ng dagdag na kape.
Babangon tayo. Susulong tayo. Babangon tayo. Susulong tayo.
Kaya kapeng-kape ang sarap at aroma. Muli tayong babangon. Nescafe Original. May tapang na cook.
We turn to the Fisheries Code of 1998, our Republic Act 8550, as amended by RE 10654. This law of governs the management and development and conservation of the Philippines marine and aquatic resources.
Under Republic Act number 8550, known as Philippine Fisheries Codes of 1998 and its immediate Republic Act 10654 in 2015. Small-scale fisheries were granted preferential rights to fish within 15 kilometers from the shoreline, known as municipal waters. These provisions aims to protect their livelihood and ensure the sustainable management of marine resources.
We depend solely on these waters for our livelihood. If large commercial boats are allowed here, what will happen to us?
Okay. According to data, over 1.3 million small-scale fisheries are affected by these decisions. The entry of large commercial fishing vessels into municipal water could lead to overfishing and the degradation of marine habitats.
This decision threatens not only the livelihoods of our fishers, but also the health of our marine ecosystem. We opposed it.
Okay. Groups such as Oceana and Pangisda Philippines have expressed concern over the Supreme Court ruling. They urge the government to revisit the law of protect small-scale fisheries and marine resources.
The law also mandates the establishment of marine protected area and the local fisheries management council. With the strengthened implementation, the Fisheries Code can pave the way from sustainable ocean stewardship.
Milo every day and do champ moves. Energize! Start your day the champion way. LP Energy, Energy Gap, the Energy Gap. Drink Milo every day. Milo every day. With your 3 balanced meals, beat Energy Gap. Drink Milo every day. Milo every day. Drink Milo every day and help beat Energy Gap like a champ.
The Philippines has a law called Climate Change Act of 2009. to help fight climate change and to protect the environment. The Philippines is taking significant steps to combat climate change. The government has introduced a new law called the Climate Change Act of 2009, also known as the Republic Act 9729. This law aims to integrate climate change consideration into national and local government's policies.
The state of our planet is deteriorating with the passage of time. Our planet, our home, and especially us are in risk because of all the change we are currently experiencing.
Mula nang payuhin ng pinakamalakas na bagyo sa mundo.
The Philippines tops a list of countries most susceptible to hazards caused by climate change.
Bahagyang lumakas ang bagyong Leon.
The Philippines is experiencing a climate crisis. It is currently the most...
And now, Mr. Lastimoso to report the Climate Change Act of 2009, also known as Republic Act 9729.
The Climate Change Act of 2009 established a comprehensive framework for addressing climate change. It created the Climate Change Commission, an independent body tasked with coordinating and monitoring climate change programs and action across the country. The Commission is responsible for developing a national framework strategy on climate change. This strategy outlines the countries' approach to reducing greenhouse gases emission and adapting to the impact of climate change. It emphasized the importance of sustainable development and environmental protection. Under this law, all government agencies and local government units are required to consider the climate change in their planning and decision-making processes. This ensures that climate change adaptation and mitigation are integrated into the various sectors: water resources, health, and infrastructure.
This law empowers local governments to develop and implement their own climate change action plan to encourage community participation and ensure that local needs and vulnerabilities are addressed.
For violating the Climate Change Act RA 9729 and 2009, penalties include a fine of not less than 10,000 pesos but not more than 100,000 pesos or 6 years imprisonment, or both. This penalty applies for violation of all others prevention of the act of its implementing regulations that Climate Change Act also established. The Climate Change Commission, which is responsible for formulating and implementing plans to address the impact of climate change.